Friends, welcome to my workplace at Ranaghat, West Bengal, India. This is a totally unedited recording of phacoemulsification of this soft cataract. Nuclear sclerosis in this case is about grade 2 plus or grade 3. By this time the main incision has been made. Visco has been injected into the anterior chamber. One side port on the right side, another side port on the left side are done. Now capsulorhexis. The anticapsule is incised, the capsular tag is raised. Now the Utrata forceps is used to hold this capsular tag, go anticlockwise, remaining at a certain distance away from the margin of the dilated pupil. A fairly round rhexis is achieved. This is a quite large rhexis. Size of this rhexis is about 5.75 or 6 millimeter. In soft cataracts, it is better to have a large rhexis because sometimes the nucleus management becomes very tedious if the rhexis is small. Hydrodissection is done. Visco is injected into the anterior chamber. Now the tip of the phaco handpiece, tip of the phaco needle is introduced into the anterior chamber. The machine being used is Ocular Cataract 3 from Switzerland. Some superficial cortical lens matter is removed. Now the handpiece is turned, bevel is up, and now the tip is buried into the substance of the nucleus, and the nucleus is chopped into two heminuclei. Each heminucleus is subdivided into two large fragments. This is the other heminucleus. So we have four large fragments. Each fragment is emulsified with ultrasonic energy, which is about 60% in this case, but 60% is not required. As much as required, we can use that much by our foot control. Now this is the last nuclear piece, and this is the epinuclear shell. It is removed. One more epinuclear shell. It is also removed. So this is the epinucleus, and now cortical cleanup is to be done. By the time my assistant gets ready with bimanual irrigation aspiration, I take the Simcoe, which is attached to a separate bottle, and here it is. Remove the cortex from all around except the sub-incisional cortex, for which I am going to use the bimanual irrigation aspiration. We must take care of the anterior chamber depth when we are using Simcoe through the main incision. The posterior lip must not be depressed at any time. Rather, a upward thrust on the anterior lip of the main wound keeps the anterior chamber formed. And now the subincisional cortex is to be removed. I have taken the bimanual irrigation aspiration, irrigation through the right side port, and aspiration from the left, and here it is. The subincisional cortex is easily removed. Some cells are sticking to the posterior capsule, that is dislodged by the fluid jet of the irrigating probe. And now the main wound is enlarged a bit because I'm going to use a B cartridge. So the main wound, which was 2.8 millimeter, is about 3 millimeter now. And here goes a hydrophilic acrylic single base monofocal intraocular lens. The lens has gone into the capsular bag. The irrigating probe dials the lens, and the visco that was in the lumen of the cartridge has come out by irrigation, and the case is almost done. You just have to, this is a bit of moxie. Now these two side ports have to be closed. Corneal stroma on either side of these stab wounds are hydrated. The lips of the wound become thick and the opening gets closed. And this is the final lavage of the anterior chamber. At this time, a gentle stream of BSS is directed towards the cornea. The capsular bag is also irrigated once, and pure BSS fills up the anterior chamber. And now we have to check the integrity of the wounds. There should not be any leakage from any side. Few drops of moxie, the intraocular pressure is felt, and the case is concluded. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope this video will give you some tips to improve your surgical skills, be a great surgeon, and serve your patients with love, respect, empathy, and great surgical competence.